We are going to start the Photographer of the Year finalist critiques. We got Mike here and Dennis, and they weren't able to be on with us for the selections. And I'm so excited to have them here and hear what they think about these portfolios. And so we're going to start with our first finalist, which is Matt Holloman. And what do you guys think of Matt's portfolio? I think he was one of our finalists last year as well. He's an amazing photographer.
Yeah, I think he's got a very, very great collection from last year. So I'm a bit jealous about it. So nice supercell structures, lightnings, everything else. And I think I would be happy if I get a selection like this from last year. So yeah. Well done, in my opinion. Well done. Loved the shots.
Yeah, I think Matt's portfolio is really nice. What I like about it is you get to see that each one of his photos has intent behind it, which is nice. There's a thought process, and there's also, looking for foreground, which I'm a sucker for foreground. I've said that year after year. Judging is like I am a foreground connoisseur, let's just say.
Snob.
So seeing snob, there you go. Yeah. I've missed so many shots for foreground. So it's seeing somebody incorporate them in like a manner that is intentional is really nice. And then also the colors are really well handled. It's not like super saturated colors, but yet it's representative of what the scenes look like. So yeah, good job, Matt.
Yeah, a shot like this could be easily oversaturated and too blue if you get a little out of control. So absolutely agree on all that. So congrats, Matt, for being a finalist.
And real quick, Mike, to chime in real fast on Matt's portfolio real fast. I want to just give him props too, because you can tell some of these shots he, for lack of better words, risked it for the biscuit, right? Oh yeah. So like that first shot right there, like, no offense to Matt, but who would set this up like this and be like, I'm going to shoot lightning? And then the bolt's like, here, let me just come down perfectly for you. So, I mean, that pays off,
We had a good discussion on this shot because I think he entered this, I don't know, if it was somewhere else or something, but we did talk about the ridiculousness of this shot working out and how it never works out for us, it feels like. But and I would be afraid to try to do that too, because I would miss the bolt. That's what Dennis said too, I think. If I did this, I would absolutely miss it. It would have gone behind the house. So
absolutely.
So all right, we'll go on to the next one. This is Brett Wright. Congratulations to Brett for making our finalists. Mike, what do you think of Brett's portfolio? I know personally because he's one of my good friends. I keep all that friendship out of this, but I know he didn't get a chance to chase a lot, but he was on a couple of the best storms of the year, and that really helped his portfolio this year.
Yeah, so Brett needs to stop using AI.
That's outlawed.
No. I mean, these are insane, and the cool thing about it too is, once again, you can tell there was a focus on it. Like, it's not just, shots where it's like everything's in your face, right? These are storytelling shots. They're further away shots, which I appreciate, because over the years, back in the day, it was like, get close, shoot as tight as you can. And now it's like, you appreciate the wider storytelling shots that show these storms are like living beings and mechanisms in the sky. So all of his shots show that and represent that. And he does a good job of balancing the scene too with like some of the smaller details. You have the structure, but then lightning, right? And then you have the structure and then the tornado. And it all works in unison. None of it feels like kind of off balance.
If I think of Brett from the earlier years till today, you can see clearly a progress. The quality of his images are getting higher and higher every year, I think. And I love this shots. Last year, he had some amazing shots into the contest, if I remember right. So, yeah. Yep. But this year, I think he nailed it. So there are some very, very unique shots in it. And especially the tone and the post-processing is well done. So, yeah. So I'm a bit speechless because the series is outstanding. So a great year for Brett, and keep on your good work. And yeah,
I think one of the fun things about this contest that's maybe different from a lot of contests out there is, the world of storm chasing photographers it's a small kind of group. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people out there that are getting better. Even one of the other names coming up, I hadn't heard of this person, so I'm super excited that we have new names that come up. But it's also awesome to have the same people over the years and get to see that growth, because I think a lot of contests you just get images and it's from all over and you don't always maybe have the consistent people entering and get to see that growth. And so Dennis, I really love what you had to say about that, because I have, seen the same thing where you can see Brett, especially kind of his progress from a few years ago in editing and all that stuff. And I know, just knowing him, how much he's worked at it and how much you guys, your judging and critiques have kind of spurred him on to get better, and other people too. That's what I hear. And so I appreciate that. And I think it's this contest is a really good tool for kind of promoting people to grow, in that regard. So
yeah,
I appreciate
hard work pays off.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And honestly, and also, being open to hearing that kind of stuff and it's not easy for us to hear criticism sometimes, or critiques, or what we could do better. It's just naturally something we probably were like, oh, I don't want to hear that. But when you take it to heart, that's how you get better in everything, not just this kind of thing. So, all right, we'll go on to the next one here. And this is the legendary Tim Baca, who is always in the finalists every year. And Mike, what do you got on this portfolio?
Yeah, this is no, just kidding. It's Tim's always crushing it, and this year's entries are obviously an example of he's continuing to crush it. And kind of, Dennis, like what you said, it's cool seeing Tim's work progress over the years as well and grow throughout the years. And you could also see his mind thinking differently, right? For example, this shot, Mike, that you have here, I remember seeing this come up and just kind of staring at it for like 15 minutes and just be like, well, that's nice. I don't know what else to say besides that's really nice.
And that it might be AI probably. So
yeah, exactly.
It's not right.
And the cojones to stand out in the dunes with lightning dropping down everywhere. That's props. So it's some really nice work that he's got. And once again, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, is all these portfolios are great, but you can see the thought process behind them. You can see the intent behind them. You get a storm coming through, Alamogordo or White Sands, and thinking to yourself, I'm going to hike out there. I'm going to put myself out into the elements. I'm going to expose myself, take a risk to get this shot. Sometimes that's what has to go into creating these epic shots. And he's got more than one in this portfolio. So it's just really well done, as always. And once again, foreground, finding these moments right here, for example, we all know that finding foreground elements or compositional elements out in Kansas is somewhat challenging unless you really like wheat. So just finding these little, like, for example, here's one tree with the void perfectly working, and you have that color contrast, you have that depth, you have that leading line. Once again, it's just props to Tim for taking the time to see these scenes here,
Yeah. One thing I know, quickly about this one image, just because of what it takes, like this was June 5th, which is in the middle of, supercell tornado season. And granted, I was out there at the time and there was not a lot of shear going on. So it was a lot easier to be like, I'm going to take a risk. But during, the early June days, you don't tend to find yourself in western side of, or central New Mexico kind of chasing just lightning at White Sands and risking missing supercell structure. So it is kind of a risk to go out there and great forecasting, on their part also. And I know from this photo that even getting the shot was like insane. And then after this, he was like in a whiteout and could barely, I think he got lost for a little bit and couldn't even find his way back to his car. So that's what it took to get this shot, kudos.
Well, and it goes back to intent too, right? Because if you've ever been to White Sands, it's a very slow crawl to get somewhere in that park, because it's just very one-way road or two-way road, very slow to pace. Then you got to get somewhere. You got to get out there. You got to find dunes that aren't trampled. So, there was a lot in that one shot right there, a lot that went into it. So,
yeah, agreed. All right, we'll go here to this is Andres Jones and Dennis. Thoughts on this one? Congrats, Andres, for making it into the finalists.
This series, I appreciate much the foreground. So he really thought about how can I get a good shot. So not just snapping a shot on the side of a road or so. He thought about how I build up my shot with unique foregrounds like this one. And yeah, I love this one too. You all know fences are everywhere in the plains, and they are our enemies sometimes.
Yes.
But he made it on this one because it's such a balanced, cool shot, I think. And again, the bolt
like this
one. Like this one too. Yeah. And the bolt hits on the right spot, not behind the tree, not out of the frame. And so well done and great work.
Yeah, I wanted to just say that's a really good point, because like here's another shot of the fence, and it's a normal fence that I would probably be like, I'm just going to try to figure out a way to get over it or around it. But if you're going to use it, at least he framed it, centered it, tried to turn it into a great composition, kind of like this one where there's like equal balance with that tree and the fence and the power lines on the left side. Like it feels kind of comfortable or something. So Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, once again, Dennis, you nailed it. I think it seems to be the theme this year too, is foreground and thoughts. All these images though are really well balanced, and that's something I appreciate, is that you've got a foreground element that is in there for a reason, and the placement of it, the framing of it, works with the atmospheric subject matter per se. And the colors are really nice too. If you go back out to like the grid view for the portfolio here, you look at it, you see a lot of warm and cool tones going on there. So it's almost a very kind of uniform color scheme amongst the portfolio, which is really nice to see as well. And then, you got the few zingers in there too with the, risk it for the biscuit shots with going to the Grand Canyon and saying, hey, I'm going to try here. And we all know how challenging that is too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a really nice, diverse portfolio. Good thought process again. Yeah, it's hard this year, man. This is a really good selection.
Yeah, I agree, and I would say like even some of the ones with like there's a great balance between the some of the portfolios, a great variety and composition and great editing, and then there's also some portfolios that have some of that, but also banger shots that are like, does this elevate it over everything because the shots are so incredible. Jen, I know you haven't got the talk much, and we're letting these other guys talk, but I figure you should say something at some point. So
I have gotten to talk
say something about
all of the other videos. I'm really enjoying the other opinions. That's why I'm here for this first hour, especially. So I agree with everything everyone said. And here's another gorgeous portfolio. I love the colors in this one. I really like what Mike was saying about balance. I think that's a winning element that we've seen in a few of these portfolios. I see that here as well. And this one, I love these beauty shots of these two tornadoes. I feel like that's something that not a lot of the portfolios have. So that's something I really enjoyed about this one too.
Yeah, and just and this is Brendan Gully. So Brendan, congrats on making the finalists. Mike, what do you think?
Sorry, I had to wait for a screaming child to stop. So yeah, no. If we go back once again, just start on the grid view here. There's some really nice diversity. You got tornadoes, you got structure, you got lightning, you got sunsets with storms. But there's an image in this shot or in this portfolio that really stood out to me. That made me go there thinking outside the box, and you know which one it is. To just be like, oh yeah, I have some Amatis at night. I'm gonna zoom in. This is I don't know what the focal length is, but you tell it's a tighter shot. And I mean, this is just something that you don't do. Like you're just like, oh yeah, let me just zoom in really tight with the 70 to 200 or 100, 400, whatever the focal length is here, and say I'm gonna hope for that one amble crawler to come perfectly through that scene. So yeah, really, really cool to see them thinking different, and that's something that I always try to kind of encourage, like workshop students or people I'm mentoring, whatever, to to be like, okay, hey, you're standing side by side with 10 photographers who all have the same gear in their bag as you and the same subject. What are you going to do to make it different? And that's a prime example right there, saying, okay, well, instead of shooting the scene wide, like probably the majority of us would, I'm going to go with the tighter shot and show that detail there. And I think that's some of the greatest aspects of storms, is those little moments that most people tend to overlook, right? Yeah. So really nice portfolio, and that shot is a zinger.
It's awesome that you brought that shot up, because when we talked about it during the selections, that's the one that I'm pretty sure Jennifer and me and Linda all went to as well. So it's pretty incredible, because there's tornadoes and there's supercell structure and all this stuff, but we're all like, look at this thing. And it's cool how we've all kind of, you just kind of see that, and you know what it's like, because we all are out there chasing, and we know I would probably never aim up at that either. So kudos to Brendan. Congrats, Brendan. And this is the wonderful Nina de Munster. Congratulations. She is the king of all like nature shots, or I should say the queen of all nature shots. But she probably is the king and the emperor and everything as well, because she just slays them. Dennis, your thoughts?
I like that she brought up again storm shot with horses again.
Mules.
Say
mules.
I did that last time.
Yeah, I know. Gotta say mules.
It's too small from my side here. So okay.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
but
it's a joke.
She nailed the lighting in this one too. So I remember the shot from last year, and it was a beautiful shot. But the scenery here it's like almost you are standing in person there. Mm-hmm. You can feel the shot, in my opinion. Just the wind blowing and the storm in the background. My favorite one from this series, I think. But overall, the whole series, their structures from supercells. We have tornadoes. We have very moody, dark, mean storms there, and just the one where I think it's Brad there standing in front of the car. We all know this moment when the night comes and the storm is passing by, and maybe the storm is not so good anymore, and you decided to shoot some lightning from the back with some beautiful colors or so, and it's one of the best moments on the chase day, in my opinion. And she captured it very well done here in this one. So, yeah, every year, Nina, you deliver so many great shots. So, yeah, congratulations for this one.
Nina's one of those photographers that, when I first saw her work come out a couple years ago, it really started kind of, getting popular. I saw it and I was like, oh, she's going to be scary good. And over the years, and she's progressed. But the thing that has really grabbed my attention is the way she creates these environmental portraits with the storms, and Brett and the mules, not horses, the mules. And she also does a wonderful job too, of incorporating, if you go back real fast, like scale and just a sense of emotion and energy in her imagery. So, for example, that shot with the car there, number three, I think it was the window smashing day. It's just a great image, and you could tell that she submitted this one. I bet you she's got images where that car is not in the frame, and she submitted this for a reason and a purpose, and that's showing the scale, showing the overall feeling of maybe kind of what it is to chase, or in this case, be chased. So there's some really nice images in her work, and I see mules, aka horses, out in the fields, and I stop and I'm like, I think for a second, I'm like, what would Nina do? Like, in dead serious, and that also has carried over. For example, in Iceland, like they have mules and ponies and horses everywhere, and I see them, and I'm like, what would Nina do? So her work has come a long way, and it's really cool to see her progress and just crush it every year.
Yeah, I've seen horses, and I go, what would Nina do? And then I try and I fail at it. So She is amazing at this, and I really like I think what you said, like some of the energy, like this shot, because it's moving, but the supercell is kind of stationary looking. She has this way of, I think we always preach a lot of like, hey, composition, like, don't just stand by the car on the shoulder of the road and take a shot, like, work a little harder or whatever. But, that's just something that we might say for certain, if you're like serious about this. But then the fact that Nina kind of documents it in a way that's for photojournalism, but also landscape photography at the same time. And the mix of it and the way she does it is incredible to me. And I just love her style because it stands out and it's different, from pretty much everybody else. So,
yeah. And real quick, Mike, to chime in, I'm sorry, I know the announcement's going on, so we're trying to talk a little louder over it, but the cool thing is, if you look at Nina's shots too, and say like keep it on grid view, she utilizes light in such a wonderful way, from everything from silhouettes of, say, Brett, or backlighting to the tornado, or to some really, like, I'm pretty sure she had a pro photo strobe with an umbrella for that horse or that mule on number 9. Like the light, like where's that light when we're out there? And also, how does she get the faces when all I get in our butts? So like,
exactly,
she really works light so well. And that first frame too, you could tell there was thought process behind that, to have the sun right behind it. If they went, say, a mile or two to whatever direction to the south, they could have had that light beaming out, and then all of a sudden your light is way different. So there's so much thought in the scenes, the compositions, the techniques, and also the light, which is really admirable.
Yep, agreed. Congratulations to all the photographers who made it. Good luck in the final round, and good luck to whoever wins.